Welcome back, everybody. I am so excited. I'm literally jumping in my chair. I get a chance to talk to a martial art actor. I get a chance to talk to somebody who's seen with Jackie Chan and Who Am I blew my mind and wanted to, and kind of forced me to go even harder into martial arts than I was already doing at that time. I've been wanting to talk to Ron for about 20 years now. I am so excited to welcome from the other part of the world because Ron is in Bangkok right now. So it's just thrilling. Ron Smorenberg, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much. For me, it's an honor as well to hear all this. And yes, I'm in Bangkok right now, Bangkok, Thailand.
Oh my goodness. And again, I joked at I joked because I'm looking at where the viewers are and I see that the viewers are from all over the world. But this is the first time when I get a chance to speak to somebody who's actually outside of the United States or Canada and you're in Bangkok. It's 9:30 p.m. your time. Thank you very much for doing it so late so we can align time-wise a little bit.
Yeah. Well, for me, it's actually quite early because I always edit in the night, the fight scenes and all the
Yeah.
things we do. So for me, actually, it's very early still.
Yeah, and I see a lot of your videos where it's like 1:30 in the morning and you're doing
Yeah.
kata in the middle of Bangkok. It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
It's crazy because Bangkok is always alive. And
Yeah,
I train in the night outside. And it's just an amazing atmosphere.
wonderful. I've never been. I definitely want to go. Hopefully
Mm.
once this COVID scare is over, we're definitely going to Asia. I really want to. I want to go there. Again, I want to go to China. I want to go to a Shaolin Temple, of course. I want to go to Bangkok. I want to go to Hong Kong. All of these places that I watch all the time and grew up watching. I want to experience them for myself.
Hong Kong is really special. China, I have a special bond with that as well. To
Yeah.
play movies. I can't wait to go back there as well. It's they have this movie kind of city. It's called Qingdao. It's like the Hollywood of China.
Yeah.
It's just a movie town, and I have some very good memories there.
Yeah, and you got a chance to work with all of the guys who I just love and admire as martial artists, as actors. We're going to dive into all of that. But let's
Okay.
back up because as excited as I am, I'm not sure again if people are as familiar with you as I am. So let's back up. You are originally from Holland. You
Yes.
like we're the same age. I think I'm 1 year older than you are. So both of us growing up as skinny kids, being bullied, watching Jean-Claude and others on the big screen, and wanted to pursue it. You did that seriously. I just went and I took martial arts classes. I got my black belt eventually, but I never did this seriously. You actually went in there and you started doing it. So what was did you start karate first? Because again, when I look at your style, it's karate, it's taekwondo, it's elements of capoeira.
Yep.
So I see kind of a mixture of things. What did you start studying first?
Well, I started with karate. It was like Kyokushinkai karate,
Hmm.
um, but actually that was 50% because I was watching so many action movies,
Yeah.
and before the it started like the training. We just copied all those action movies like Van Damme, and
Yep.
we had the Ninja series on TV,
Yeah.
even Rocky. It inspired
Yep.
Bloodsport, and so that was like half the training. And the karate is very good for the basics, really, like to control, for speed, and you need also to have the fighter's background. I think when you do movie fighting, it's like the footwork and all those things. I think you kind of need that. And karate for me, it was great. Karate Kid, right? My my,
Yeah.
my teacher looked like Master Miyagi, actually.
Oh, yeah. So did you do wax on, wax off, and the whole the whole thing?
Well, he was like that, and I was very young still, 11, 12. So you believe in, you have a little bit fantasy as well. It's all magic for you,
Of
those
course.
movies, and it's all like, this whole martial art thing. It's like a secret world, and it just start to open up.
Yeah.
And we had all those katas, the forms, and it looked
Yep.
so beautiful, and it was very mysterious. So yeah, we wanted to learn
Yeah.
basically every day. There was no day without training.
And that's how you get good, and that's how you did it. But
Yeah.
from again, I'm not a karate expert, but from what I understand, all of the high kicks and spinning kicks, that's not necessarily karate. That's more taekwondo style stuff. When did you start incorporating them?
Mm, mm. You know, like Van Damme. Van Damme did a lot of kicks, like the leg holding.
Yep, yep,
My sister was a gymnast, and she said, "Ron, you are a little bit stiff." So she taught me the splits. She said you have to be on your socks, on your socks,
yep.
and slide down and just keep going. And so, yeah, I practiced the splits, and I got a little bit more flexible. Yeah, and then Van Damme was Rabbit Bloodsport, and yeah, I wanted to be like him,
Yep.
basically. Of course, later you realize you have to do your own style.
Right.
But those kicks, yeah, jumps, kicks, it was all about that. And we had those leaves and trees in our street, and I always tried to kick higher and higher,
Yep.
they were like targets.
Yeah.
We just made up our own stuff.
Yeah, your tornado kick is amazing. Again, going back to that whole Jackie scene, which we'll come to in a minute, but that again, it blew my mind as to what was possible. I remember, and by the way, they tried to hit the leaves. This is how I broke my wrist the first time, because I was 14, I was at a party, and I told people, hey, I can kick the ceiling. So I jumped up, I tried to kick the ceiling, I did not kick the ceiling, and I fell straight onto my wrist. So I called my dad
Ah,
from the party. I said, Dad, don't worry, I'm okay, but I think the wrist is broken. So that's my experience trying to kick high.
that happens. Yeah, that happens. You fall down as well,
Yeah.
and it's quite funny. Yeah, I kicked my nose one time. Like I was swinging my leg up, and I went so high that I kicked my own nose. I almost broke my nose with that. You know, some weird stuff. In the sandbags you put on your
Yep.
foot.
Yep.
Like I popped out my knee with that because you want to go extreme, right? You
Yeah.
don't know the dangers when you're young. You'll learn when you're older, but
Yeah.
you don't know the dangers when you're young. There's no limits.
Amazing. And I did my splits the first time when I was in high school, because again I saw Van Damme. I wanted to do the splits, so I started stretching. And in high school, even though I wasn't doing martial arts in high school, people were never getting into fights with me because I was doing splits between the chairs. So people assumed I knew what I was doing. I had no idea. I was just doing the Van Damme thing. That's it.
That's it. And
Yep.
and this is great to hear because Van Damme really, he had such an impact on the whole martial art world. Even the MMA now, Les, Bloodsport. Yeah, I think it originated from that. The tricking, all the special kicks and stuff. It started with leg holding and those kicks, and then it evolved. But I think Van Damme initiated a lot of things, and it might even be underestimated. But without Van Damme, the world would be different. The martial art world.
I agree. Absolutely. All right.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. So when you still hold the record for the highest kick at 11 feet. Was that
11 feet.
was that before Jackie, or was that after Jackie?
Yeah, it was an amazing time. It was actually 3 months before Jackie Chan came to Holland for the movie Who Am I?
Yeah.
3 months before I got this record. It was a good timing because I had it on a videotape
Yep.
and I gave that to the Jackie team and I was an extra on the set.
Yeah. And that's how you got into that last fight, which won a Hong Kong Oscar, and that's the fight that blew my mind. I said, "Who is this guy? I didn't know you could do all of that."
Yeah, well, nowadays the kicks have evolved, right? There's a lot of more different kicks now.
Yeah.
But for that time,
Yeah.
1997, yeah, it was quite challenging, to be honest. And fighting Jackie is a challenge,
Right.
and it is the best experience I could ever have.
Yeah. So what was it like? Because that was your first time in a movie, and you're in this
Yep.
huge scene, and you're fighting
Yeah.
Jackie. I know it was you and another actor, but it was you, and not being a professionally trained actor at that point. not
Yep.
being in a movie. I know you and your friends were doing kind of these demos, but
Yep.
uh, ability to fall properly, ability to make sure that you're not actually kicking Jackie or hitting Jackie hard, being able to take a punch. How did you manage all of that in your first time?
Yeah, I'm a little lucky because I already had some leg control. That was good. But Jackie Chan is Jackie Chan, and even his own stuntmen are nervous who worked with him for like 15 years.
Yeah,
So can you imagine a guy who has his first movie, never did any movie before, have to have a main fight with Jackie Chan?
right.
The sad thing is sometimes I get punished for this because there is a documentary called My Stunts,
Uh-huh.
and it shows that, I couldn't catch up with the timing. I can tell you guys, if you never did a movie and you fight with a guy like Jackie Chan with all the pressure around you, because everybody have pressure, and you have to do those combos, that is not easy, you know?
No.
And they were filming like this documentary the same time they were doing Who Am I? So, so they needed a kind of example of a foreigner or an actor who was not with the Jackie Chan team and who had some difficulties with the choreography.
Hmm.
They needed an example like that because it's about how good the Jackie Chan team is. This documentary. So I'm a little bit punished actually with that documentary, and I'm a little bit,
Yeah.
it's a little bit a double edge. So after Who Am I, when it came out, it was like, oh great, it's a great fight scene. But then people saw the documentary, like, oh, he's not that good. And but believe me, this is actually what happens on every movie set.
Hmm.
There's always doubles. Jackie Chan had 4 doubles on the set. They don't show that,
Right.
right? But they make it, they make the story their way, and it's a twisted story. But everybody has doubles. Scott Adkins has doubles. Everybody has doubles.
Right.
And that's just a normal thing. But people who don't know movies, or people who would love to do this fight with Jackie, they would say, he couldn't do it. But again, if you were in my shoes, also at that time I lost my girlfriend, I lost my job, I had a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And if you've never been on a movie set, there's people doing your clothes, and there's doing the makeup while they talk to you, like, next shot, kick higher, look down, a little bit faster, tempo, ready, and action. You can't even process it.
Yeah.
And then you're already in the next take. So you need to be a supercomputer. And when you get more relaxed over the years,
Yeah.
it becomes automatically. Like Jackie Chan can do that stuff blind,
Yeah.
right? That's just experience. And that's what they told me. He said, Ron, you just need more experience. So my goal became, after this movie, I want to fight all those action stars and learn as much as I can, right? Never let this happen again. But yeah, I'm always getting a little bit punished and for this, like, oh, he was doubled, and this happens in every movie. But okay, I have to take those hits. And the good thing is I already died once with that, so you can't die twice. So you can only build from that. And I had to build myself from -0 basically up again after that documentary. But this is life, and this is reality. So I love to share with you guys about the movie business, because we learn sometimes the hard way.
Yeah.
It's a
And
beautiful business though.
yeah, I mean, give a guy a break. This is your first film, and you're in a fight with
Yeah,
Jackie Chan. I mean, you need to really understand. So yeah, I'm not a fan of
yeah.
that, and people should have understood it better. So
Jackie is the hardest to work with. Like if you do some Indian movie or so, those cues are slow, you
yeah,
duck and you get one hit. But Jackie is pop, 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 pop. Look, down, pop. It's like, it's
yeah,
something you have to process. But every movie after Who Am I, for me, was actually very relaxed. So when I fight Scott Atkins or
yeah,
Seagal, or, this pressure wasn't there anymore. And it's very relaxed. And, and they're all different, though. I would love to talk about that. They're all different. Tony Jaa, hits a little bit
yeah,
harder.
yeah.
And it's just amazing. So, but the start was hard. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's learning how to fly by being thrown out the 10-story window. But
That is
yeah,
literally it. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And then nothing happened, and I just had to reinvent myself and just go to Hong Kong.
So that's what happened, right? So you had that kind of setback, which I'm not happy about. That's not fair. And then you went to Hong Kong, and did you have to do stunts, or were you getting into the films right away?
Well, the funny thing is, they said if you go to Hong Kong in July, you're going to be in this movie.
Hmm.
So I went in July. I saved my money. Hong Kong is expensive, so I had money for 2 weeks, and then the movie was delayed. That happens always in the movie business,
Yeah.
delays and stuff. And so I had to go home. I didn't have money anymore. So yeah, I saw John Woo office in one of the streets. John Woo office,
Yeah.
and I had nothing to lose. I just went in there, and they were doing some kind of boxing movie, and they asked me, "Are you a boxer?" I said, "Yeah, I'm a boxer." We have to adapt sometimes. And I got this boxing movie with some acting
Yeah.
and some fight scene. It's called Born Wild.
Okay.
It's a small movie, but with that money, I could stay a few more weeks. And then I could do that other movie, Gen Y Cops,
Yeah.
back in the days, 2000.
Yeah.
So, it's such a coincidences together. It's just beautiful as well, how life can be if you just stick to your dream.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that's so inspiring about you, because you're not taking kind of things falling down. When you get knocked down, you get back up, you reinvent yourself, you continue working. And I've seen a lot of your videos where you're talking to people and you're inspiring them, saying, "Hey, you have to do what you love. You have to pursue your passion. You have to go where things are happening." That's why you're in Bangkok. I really appreciate that. Please continue inspiring people.
I tell you the truth, sometimes we are surviving. It's not like what you always see on the red carpet, with those jackets and stuff. I mean, look, this is how I look every day.
Yeah.
We train, it's survival, but it's great. If you can live your dream,
Yeah.
I think, you got to be also on the right soil to do that. Like for example, if I stay in Holland, there's no action movies. So you have to be on the soil to grow, right? To develop on the right soil. So that's actually the first thing you have to realize. Like, where am I? Is it happening here? Or is there any chance? So I had to move to Thailand. Yeah. First was Hong Kong, but that died out. And then there was Tony Jaa in Thailand.
Yeah. Tony Jaa. Let's talk about Tony. Actually, let's back up for a second. While you were in Hong Kong, you reinvented yourself. You started establishing things back up. Who was the next kind of star that you had a chance to fight on screen?
Well, in Hong Kong there were some local stars. There was a guy called Louis Ko, and that's actually he's quite famous right now in those Hong Kong movies. And some famous singer, I think he's still doing stuff, and that was 2000. Suki, the girl Suke is her name. She's still quite famous right now, but that was back in the days, like 2000. But the real martial arts people, I think the second one after Jackie, that was Tony Jaa, sure, in Thailand.
Tony is
again.
And
you know what?
Yeah.
I did the same tactics as with Jackie Chan.
Okay. Yeah. So which movie was with Tony?
The thing was, the movie was already shot. It's called Tom Yam Goon.
Okay.
Another name is Warriors, the Warrior King, I think.
Okay.
Tom Yam Goon. It was already shot, but they had a reshoot of the final scene, like a group fight. And I got on the set there as well, and I saw the director, Pracha Pinkau, and I said, I'm from Who Am I? And I'm from this movie. They said, sorry, we cannot give you a main fight with Tony Jaa. Are you okay for a group fight? But show me your moves first. So I had to do some moves on the spot in front of everyone. And they said, you know what? I think Tony's going to hurt you. Maybe we should not do this. And I said, come on, I did free fight as well, martial art. I said, it's okay. But actually, Tony Jaa, he hits hard. I got the part, and he hits very hard. He kicked my teeth out here.
Oh my goodness. So,
but those are souvenirs. I will not complain. I mean, I can't forget him every day when I brush my teeth.
It's
souvenirs.
a memory that lives on.
Yeah, Tony Jaa is great though. I have to admit. But even Scott Atkins said in Triple Threat, which I also did.
Yeah.
Tony Jaa is like a stone. You know, when you hit him, you get hurt. When you hit him,
Wow.
he's
It
solid.
it seems like that because again, his style is is all power. The
Yeah.
knee, the elbow, the whole thing. I mean, that's how. It's not the first time that I've seen Muay Thai. I've seen Muay Thai before, and again with kickboxer with Van Damme earlier. But this is the first time I saw Muay Thai that Tony Jaa does.
Yes.
That's a different Muay Thai.
Yes. So if you used to Thailand, right, like the Thai action movies, and you go, for example, to China,
Yeah.
they will tell me, Ron, calm down, you know, don't hit that hard. But in Thailand, it's just bam, you know, you get really hit, even in the face, like some front kicks.
Well,
You don't do that in China, you'll get fired. So you also have to adapt. Like when you fight Tony, you can punch a little harder. When you fight Scott, you have to be a little faster. When you fight Van Damme, you know, you have to really listen what he say.
yeah.
When you fight Seagal, you know, there's all kind of, you know, you have to adapt to each star, basically.
Okay, so with Tony Jaa, he gave you a going away present and he hits hard. Who was the next one after that out of the guys that I know?
I think that was Van Damme. And he had a movie here called Eagle Path. It's still coming out.
Hmm.
And it was a short fight, but it was just an honor to work with him. You know, I think he kicked me in the balls. He pushed my head to the wall. Uh, yeah, I took him out of a car, a few small things.
Yeah,
And I think then I fought with Scott Atkins in Ninja 2.
yeah, I love Ninja too. Sorry, I'm interrupting for a second, but going back to Van Damme for a moment.
Yeah.
I'm planning on inviting Jean-Claude to my show. I'm waiting until I do my splits again because as soon as I mention to him that I used to do them, he's going to ask me to do them. So until I stretch out again and I'm able to do it, I'm not inviting him. But for you, who again grew up and was like me, was so influenced by Jean-Claude, what was it like just to work with him?
You know what? I think Van Damme is great. He's really how I expected. You know, he's very passionate
Hmm.
on set. He's really into it. He just wants the best for the movie.
Hmm.
And he also said, you know, stay in the fan. You know, get some drink, take some sugar. You know, some energy. He really takes care of you. He told me one thing though. He said, don't do those kicks you do in with Jackie. You know, it's not a movie like that. I said, you know, whatever you want, it's all good. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that was an interesting movie to work with. Van Damme is great, really.
Okay.
I know. He also said the movie business is hard, and of course, it influenced him, and
Yeah.
you know, it affected him in some ways. We all know that.
Yeah.
But what Van Damme did to the martial art world and to me, and when I was young,
Yeah.
we never forget that. You know it, right? We never forget that. That is such a value. Without him, I wouldn't be here right now. Really. And I told him that. He said, "Okay, it's okay. We don't need to talk about that." You know, he got a little bit shy maybe from that, but Van Damme is amazing. Really, really. He But he also said about the movie business that it's not always the honor we see in the dojo, right? We're used to that as martial artists. The movie business is sometimes hard, you know, also with business and with people. So what I want to tell the audience, it's not the art itself what is the hardest thing, like the combos or you know, the falls, the stunts, the acting. It is more the things around it, right? Like dealing with people,
Yeah.
the network, not being cheated, jealous people, you know, find the good people around you. That is already a task on its own.
Yeah.
And you're going to get burned for sure.
Yeah. Well, it happens.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned Scott Atkins, who I love. He's one of my favorites. For me, right now, by the way, out of the guys that are there, I have my top three, which is Donnie Yen, Michael J. White, and Scott Atkins. Those are my three favorites. And Scott,
Yep.
again, like us, he was affected by Bruce Lee, obviously, and he was affected by Jean-Claude. So it's
Yeah.
that continues.
By the way, I forgot to tell you, that I actually worked with Donnie as well in between in Germany on a TV series.
Wow.
That is called the Puma. And I was like, first I was the double of, so can you imagine being doubled first in Who Am I? Then you become the double
Yeah.
for a guy in another movie.
Yeah.
Later, in the series The Puma. And then later they said, we're going to give you like this big fight. And from Donnie, actually, I learned a lot. From Donnie Yen.
What did you learn?
He's a master. He had a few rules. He said, golden scissors. So that means if you are an action director on a project, make sure you edit in your vision and give this edit to the real editor. If the real editor who's not on the set just get the footage and you make some inserts and stuff, they're going to use that. So it's going to be a different version, and they can totally destroy your work. So he call it golden scissors. The golden scissor rule that in his contract is that they have to use 99% of his editing. So he's very smart. So he also directed himself. So he has this kind of quality control. And because when you do movies, even Scott or other people, then there's not always the control you want. So when the movie comes out, it can be disappointing sometimes. When you work with a different director or different team, or it's a little bit gambling sometimes. But Donnie just took this out of the equation, like, golden scissors. I just cut this, and it's going to be like that.
Interesting. What else did you learn, and how was it fighting with him?
This is very interesting. When you choreograph a fight, a lot of people do it wrong, actually. They just give you what to do. Like, okay, run, without even knowing me. Okay, kick, you're going to do some punches. Basically, they do what they know themselves, and they let me do that. I think if you are a good coordinator, and Donnie did that, he just watched you train. So let's have a training tonight, and he's just watching you. What are your best moves? Based on those moves, he makes the choreo. So the flower is always open, right? And also that will save him a lot of thinking and creative time, because he already see what I like to do and what I'm good at. So between those highlights of moves I can do, he just adds some combos to make it smooth, to glue it together. And that's how he makes choreographies. So everybody really feels good. They feel like an optimized version of themselves. In a lot of other movies, I'm being cut down. Oh, don't do that kick. That's for the main guy. Or, you cannot shine too much because the main guy will not look as good. Or, you cannot overshine the main guy sometimes. So I always feel like I'm a little bit a shadow version of myself, to be honest. But with Donnie and Jackie, that was not the case.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yes, that's a big difference. It can really be different. And then I always say, oh, you always get beaten. And that's normal. But sometimes they really cut down your moves, and you're just like a punching bag, to be honest. You got to do your own movie sometimes.
Yeah, and that's I keep hearing again. I'm interviewing mostly non-action people, and it's the same thing. If you want to be seen, because as an actor, you have your type, and they put you in a type, and a lot of times it's restricting. So if people think that you're only doing drama, you really have to make your own movie, or do a short, or do some indie project in which you show a different side of yourself. Otherwise, people won't see it. They're so kind of focused on it. Same thing with you and moves and ability to show what you can do. Yeah,
you're totally right. And now, you're gonna get typecast, like, oh, he's only a fighter. And especially in the US, you have those, those boxes. You're a stuntman. You're not an actor. In Thailand and Asia, that's the good thing of Asia. You can be a little bit mixed of things. Like, you can be an actor who does his own action, and so it blends a little bit more than, you're just being paid as a stuntman. You just do this, you make the hero look good. And so here it's a little bit different. In the US also, you got to do your own stuff. Like, even shorts, you can get so much more footage if you do your own short for 5 minutes than some Hollywood movie when you can see yourself 10 seconds.
Pretty much,
It is really, like, people have to realize that. And it's what you want to bring to this world. So for me, I have to show myself about acting, right? It's about acting too. 200% that I can act. Like, especially as an action actor, you get this label. He's just a fighter, he can't act. Acting is more than 50% of the whole performance. Without character, basically, it's quite plain.
Yeah, and Scott, Donnie, Michael, all of them say the same thing. You know, you think of me as an action star, but it's acting. I start with acting first, and then the action is a part of that because that's what I'm in. So yeah.
Yeah. I've always been the bad guy, and now I'm changing a little bit. My hair longer. I want to be a good guy. I think I've always been miscast. I want to be the good guy right now.
Yeah, and you should be because you are a good guy. You get a chance to play all the well. It's the type again, right? So I'm Russian speaking, and you speak Russian, and you speak German, and you speak Dutch. So you know you get cast as the Russian, bad guy that is trying to do something. So it's just that's what it is.
Or a mix, or you pretend to be a good guy, turns out to be a bad guy, or you gain some trust, but actually you're bad, or a mix of that. It can be very interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, some people only look like a bad guy, but some people, it's very interesting business, the acting business.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I like to get into character. I love acting. I started a little bit too late even with the real acting stuff, but it's never too late. And you learn so much about yourself when you do acting. It is amazing.
Yeah.
The problem with me is, right? If I continue talking, the problem with me was I learned in the beginning from Jackie.
Yeah.
And in Thailand they have this Thai TV series, and that is overacting. So when you're angry, you're like, you're really angry, Yeah. And Jackie, when he has pain, he's like, like that. So I was used to that. So I had to unlearn a lot of things. I was too much, like too intense. And I learned to get it more from the inside, from the eyes. You think something, it's in the eyes. Like, okay, I don't like that guy, and you don't do it with your mouth too much. What I did before, like, it's just the eyes, you you look at someone like, okay, I don't like you, man. Like, we learned I had to reverse it. Start from nothing and then start to show a little bit. And that was already too much sometimes. That's a detail.
Yeah, it's important, and again, I'm glad you're doing it because I see on your YouTube channel, which by the way we're linking right below, so people go subscribe. On your YouTube channel, I see you're doing these shorts, and you're doing this, and I see you're showing that part of yourself where you get a chance to really show your range as an actor, show your choreography, you're choreographing all of the fight scenes. It's very, very good.
It's very strange because sometimes that looks better than my performance in some kind of bigger movie.
Yeah.
And it's really strange. Like so yeah, you have to really take the power in your own hands. You have to create yourself as much as you can. And everything on the top is just a bonus. You need those credits.
Yeah.
But don't just let it go and leave it to others. Absolutely not. You need to stand for who you are. And how do you want to be seen? And if that's not coming out properly, you have to fix that. That's what I learned. And it's not too late,
No, it's not. Yeah.
Not too late.
Well, so
when you're older, you get character. And in America, the actors are a little older anyway. It's all good. They always said when I was too young, you're never perfect. You look too good. You too much look like, like a model or something. And suddenly you are too old.
Yeah.
So there's not a good age. Like, for the critic people,
yep,
it's never good. Or you are too old or you're too young. But when is the right time then? Yeah. I think you're always in the right time for that moment. And you just do what you can at that time.
Yeah. So,
right? Life experience as well. When a girlfriend breaks up, people will cry for that. But I always tell them, guys, it's good for your acting.
Yeah.
A guy went to jail this year, my friend, and he was really sad. And I visited him in jail. I said, actually, man, this is good for your acting. He started to laugh, like all the experience he had there. And yeah, he became a proper character. The life experience is important.
Yeah.
Even breakups or good things or people die. yeah, we are humans, right? We're not robots.
Right.
And the humanity is what we show. It's not what we show how good we are. I think it's what we show is what is in our hearts that we project to everyone. That is what it's about for me.
Mm.
Actually, I have a mission as well. It's a
What is
mission to motivate others. That feeling, what we have, the joy, in doing all this, I like to transfer that to others
it?
because it did so much for me, right? And we want to pass that on.
You should, and that's again. I've seen some of your videos, and I get inspired.
Oh,
It's
cool.
so
Thanks.
absolutely. When you're talking about reinventing yourself, look at what I'm doing here. I'm seen in the acting world in my type, and my type is usually drama, which is the father, the lawyer, the doctor. That's me. I'm the good guy who's not going to hurt anybody. But I have a
Mm,
lot more sides to myself. I'm very funny, silly guy. I
hmm
can also be somebody who I do have a martial arts background. Not at any level that you have. Mine is small, but I can do a few things. So it's that type of stuff. So I have to do my own things to make sure that people understand that. Same thing with the show. I'm starting to do it because I want to do it, and it also allows people to see me for who I am, so they get a chance to better understand all of my serious side, my comedic side, and just the type of person that I am. And what I don't know what
Yeah,
that's going to lead to, but you have to take things into your own hands and do it. And I completely agree with you.
yeah, you're right. And it's good what you're doing, like the diversity. And when we talk normally, people see are different. Like I had the problem on pictures. I always look a little bit, serious.
Mhm.
And people think like maybe you are, a mean guy in real. You're not a nice guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is good. Like the way we talk normally, different roles, right? Add some martial arts. I love comedy too. I do it with my son.
Yeah.
He just throw an egg on my head, and he makes some funny jokes with me. And it, people said you should be a comedian instead of a martial artist. I had scenes with ladyboys in Thailand.
Mhm.
I was kind of lured into some funny stuff
Mhm.
in underwear with ladyboys. Well, sometimes, as an actor, I said, okay, let's do this. But,
Yeah.
I mean, it was not a sex scene, but
I can see. Yeah. Um,
it was some experience. And I said, okay, if you can do this, we can do everything,
yeah.
right?
It's
It's like you really expand borders. It's so
yeah.
beautiful, this whole acting thing. It's right?
Mhm. Well, again, I know I have 5 credits, you have 93 credits. You're in movies, I'm in, shorts and indies. So I know at my level. But yes, from talking to people, and now over the last, 2.5 months, I get a chance to talk to people who are, I've been watching for the last 15, 20 years. So I'm learning a lot
Yeah.
more in terms of what the business is actually like, and what important things to focus on in terms of acting specifically. So yeah, I'm getting a
Yep.
better. So
Absolutely. And you can always keep learning. Like there's no limits. And that is the great thing of this.
yeah, um,
Yeah.
it's being a sponge. So going back to, because I want to cover all the guys that we were talking about, and I want to ask you some specific things about scenes that I always wonder of what it's like in a martial arts film. So you
Okay.
get a chance to work with Jean-Claude. You get a chance to work with Donnie, with Tony. You get a chance to work obviously with Jackie. Who was we got to Scott Adkins. So what was it like to film with Scott?
Great. I think we have actually our careers went a little bit parallel in the past.
Mhm.
Like he also went to Hong Kong back in the days. So we had a very good bond. We have a very good, when we talk together, it's like, and we have a little bit with our bodies, when we talk about injuries and stuff, we have a little bit the same experience.
Yeah.
Scott is amazing. He's a very good example. He doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink, he has a family, he's serious. He's nice. He's a great example, really. Scott he's fit.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's a very cool, good guy, and nice to be around with. Well, you would love to work with Scott, definitely, and he deserves everything like he's getting right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just great. He hits hard. I like it though because acting will be more natural. He gave me some good hits in Ninja 2 though. So I'm flying, right? I
Yeah.
was really flying. We don't
Mhm.
need wires for that.
Yeah.
He sent me in the air, but I thank him for that. Like it was good.
Yeah. Ninja 2 was
Action reaction, right? You need to act, but also react. If
yeah.
if I wouldn't do a good reaction, he would look weak as well. So it's both ways, like acting, right? Like fighting.
Yeah.
It's also the reaction of the other. You have to build each other. The same with action. It's also how you react, but it's also in acting how
Mhm.
the other responds. If he doesn't give a move, then he can't grow
Yeah. And I think
sometimes.
Well, and I think what a lot of people miss about the martial arts acting is that it's actually a lot harder because not only do
Yeah,
you have to know the choreography, you have to execute it properly. You have a lot of takes which are very taxing on your body, and you have to act, and it has to be believable. There are a lot of aspects of it that are making it much harder than people think. It's not just, hey, let's do this. It's not. It's a lot more difficult.
yeah. You're totally right. Because without the acting, things can look really funny.
Mhm.
And yeah, for example, when you get hit, right? It's
Mhm.
good sometimes to take your time,
Yeah.
and get up and take your time and squeeze the lemon with that.
Mhm.
So yeah, the acting in the fight is very important. Also the intention. Some people do so much choreo. This is like a small maybe advice. They do so much choreo
Mhm.
that they already know what's coming and they already adapt to early,
Right.
right? And then it feels like a choreo. It's like when you act but you don't believe it.
Mhm.
So I really like have the intention to punch somebody's head off when I fight. And it might be a little scary. I will not hit them, but then the audience will feel it too. And sometimes when people punch, for example, they punch a little bit over,
Yeah.
right? But I punch a little bit down to really have the intention to really like go for him.
Yep. You
Oh,
just punched your
that
cat.
was my phone. Well,
No,
that's an action example,
there
That's
you
an
go.
action example.
It
But
was
yeah, there you
a
go.
call.
So there we be back.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's an example. So you call it anticipation, I think, in
Yeah.
in English. So when you anticipate, yeah, too much, or in acting, you know what's coming, then it's not a
Mhm.
surprise anymore.
Mhm.
So actually, it's very funny right now what I'm going to say. The acting I use for martial arts, I also use for normal acting.
Yeah.
Like you don't anticipate. You just let people say their lines, and you just really think about it. Like what are they actually saying,
Mhm.
without thinking about your next line. Else it's too clean. Like when a choreography in a fight, for example, is too clean, it
Mhm.
doesn't look real. And that's a problem with a lot of those fight scenes. It looks too clean. But when you, for example, break the rhythm or have some random thing in between, like you improvise a little bit in acting as well. It takes off that kind of cleanliness
Mhm.
in the fight and in the acting, and it becomes more real.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of actors maybe use that, to not always have the same take, right? To go a little bit off sometimes and see what happens when you say it like that, or and in fight scenes, you have to be very sharp.
Mhm.
But to add a few random elements in there
Mhm.
in the choreo, it's not a bad thing.
You're absolutely correct. Actors do this all the time, and the main thing that we're taught
Mm,
as actors is listen, then react.
yeah,
Take it in. Don't you can't be anticipating things. And most of the
yep,
good actors that I talk to and that I know of, almost every take is different. They play,
yes,
it's organic, and then the editing takes care of itself. But within the blocking, obviously, and the scene, but their intentions, everything, they play with it, they change it. It's very fluid.
yeah. Sometimes it can even overlap. Like if I break your line, or sometimes when I wait too long, it can be very weird, a weird situation.
Yeah.
But that can maybe be good for the scene. So to play with that, it's just awesome. And I had an acting coach actually for the movie Skin Traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And he taught me something very interesting. And I love to tell you that. Like, I was in the time, I was still a little bit like overacting.
Mhm.
And I had this gun, and I had to point the gun. It was 2014 to a guy, and I wanted to be aggressive, you know. And he said, you know what? Do the opposite. You are scared of your own gun. So you pull out the gun, you're like, whoa, you know, like, this is gonna kill you.
Mhm.
You know, this is a dangerous one. Like, oh, like, you know, like that.
Yeah.
And that actually was something different, something unique. And it kind of worked for the scene as well. So sometimes to do the opposite can actually get even a better effect. So just to experiment with all of that,
Yeah.
that is cool.
Yeah, it's great advice. Thank you. I'm gonna utilize that in my acting.
Yeah, just an example, but you know, and that is cool. Like, see the options, what you can do.
Mhm.
Maybe, you know, the coolest gangsters. You know, we met some gangsters here in Thailand, and you know, in the movie business, you know,
Yep.
you meet some people sometimes. You know, they have a little bit funny background.
Yep.
The biggest gangsters are actually very cool. You know, they're not always like, you know, look around, and those are maybe the beginners, the runners.
Yeah.
People who've been up there, they're very relaxed. You know, they just sit back. You know, they don't care. You know, if they want to get rid of you, they have their ways.
Right.
But they not have this. You know, they're past that stage.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very interesting. All those things, like when they give money, you know, they let you come to take it, right? They not hand it over like that. So all those small things, body language, way of thinking, and your own background, right? What have you been through is always good to know.
Mhm.
Like, you've been a mafia for years. You've taken out lots of people, do so many deals. For you, this is, you know, you don't really care,
Right.
right? This is, you know, all for the character.
Mhm. How are they fans of the films? Do they like it?
You mean those people? Like,
Yeah.
oh, you know, I mean, I'm not into gangsters, but you know, actually, a lot of guys, they love to play movies. Like, I know some guys like with the Hells Angels and stuff. You know, one is actually my friend from school from back in the days in Holland.
Mhm.
He's actually with the Hells Angels. He loved to play movies. He said, "Man, if you want our whole team, we get all the bikes, we get the whole gang, and you know, we play in your movie for free." They
Mhm.
would love that. They like that stuff,
Yeah.
and you know, they don't need to act. They just be themselves.
Yep.
So it's even better. You know, it's even better.
Yeah. Very cool.
Mm.
All right. So who else? I know you fought well somebody else that was in Ninja 2, but you didn't get a fight with him. That's Sho Kosugi's son. He's
Oh,
amazing. And then you had a fight scene with him. I didn't
I
even know.
fought with him.
Yeah, I didn't know that Sho had a son. And then I saw him in Ninja 2. I'm like, who is this guy? He's really, really good. And then I started
Yeah,
to follow him. He's wonderful.
yeah. His name is Kane Kusuki, and yeah, he's the son. Actually, you know what? He was on the set of Who Am I? He was part of the Jackie Chan stunt team that time.
Wow.
So he knew me from that movie,
Okay.
and he knew about the difficulties back then.
Wow.
And he said, "Oh, Ron, I felt sorry for you, you know, Kane Kusuki." But we fought him as well. Me and
Yeah.
my friend, Brahim is his name. He's also an action actor here. We
Mhm.
fought Kane Kusuki in Tekken Part 2.
Yeah.
We fought him. And okay, that fight is, you know, you never know how it turns out. But, you know, I'm happy to do those things.
Mhm.
And it's just an honor, you know, to fight all those people.
Yeah.
And he's flawless, like so sharp.
Yeah.
You know, there was not one mistake in that whole fight, even in the takes. That was amazing. But
Yeah.
you still have to see how they edit it, you know, the pace of the, you know, you never know how things will develop. And yeah, so yeah, it's good to take things in your own hands sometimes. What we said before.
Yeah. His his fight with Scott in Ninja 2, that
Yeah,
last fight, that was just amazing. You know, both of them. I gained so much respect for Kay because again, he was new to me. I said, this is just this amazing technique, just remarkable guy. It's I'm very happy.
Yeah.
I grew up on ninja movies with Show, so I remember all of that, and then it was huge pleasant surprise for me.
Yeah, I was watching Pray for That. Pray for That.
Yeah.
His son, Kane, was like a small boy
Yeah.
that time. And I was watching him as a kid. And then years later, you fight each other, like, work together. Like, it's very amazing how things can actually go,
Yeah.
you know? Same
Yeah.
with Seagal. Like, we saw him when I was, just starting martial arts. After a few years, Seagal came. And then you would be on the set with him. Like, the same with Van Damme, like, But that's why I want to say also to people, follow your dream. Life is too short to disappear into expectations of others.
That's
Right?
a really beautiful phrase. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah,
Life.
don't disappear into expectations of others, because you can also be a better person if you just feel good, even for your wife or for your people around you. Right? If you feel great, you also give them more energy. If you're not yourself, or you have the secret dream, you can't do it, and you're frustrated, you're not going to make people around you happy as well. So yeah, you got to also find those people who can handle that in your
Right.
life.
Yeah.
Like a good girlfriend. A bad girlfriend can destroy your career.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Sorry to skip from here to there, but I just want to
It's
share a little bit experience to you guys. And yeah, the wrong circumstances, a wrong boss, bad girlfriend,
yeah.
expectations, be careful.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I'm not going to name the actor to protect kind of the privacy.
Right.
But I was speaking to a well-known actor, somebody who's on a network show that everybody watches, and he was saying when he had an audition for that series, his
Uh-huh.
girlfriend at the time was saying, "What are you doing? You shouldn't be doing this. They're not going to buy you in this role." Thankfully, they had a
Wow.
fight and he went and he auditioned, and that changed his career. If he wouldn't have gone, his career certainly would have been a lot different now. So you have to surround yourself with people who understand you and who want you to continue growing. Otherwise, it's not going to be a good thing.
Yes, yes. I have seen people who have a a big dream, just holding back. And
Yeah.
now they're working somewhere in the office, pleasing that girl. And at the end, that guy is not interesting anymore because he lost his passion.
Mhm.
We guys are interesting for girls if we still keep that passion. And then they kind of have to fight for you. That's the kind of how life works. You
Yeah.
know, it's true. But when you say, honey, okay, I'm all yours now. You want to go right, I go right. You want to go there, I go there.
Yeah.
That's not life.
Right.
You got to stay interesting also for them. Keep the passion, right? And I've seen people who lost it, sadly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate.
but you can reverse it. It's never too late. And I had a girlfriend when I was young. I actually lost 5 years in my career because of this. That's why I can say it. I lost 5 years with a very jealous girl. She told me, Ron, can you promise me, if you're 30 years old, you're not famous, can you quit your career and just become a normal guy? I said, look, we were on a holiday, by the way, in Mexico. I said, look, when I'm 30, it's just going to start. And she
Yeah.
was so angry the whole holiday. She didn't talk to me anymore. She just, put this pressure on me to stop my career. And, you can't do that if you love somebody. She said, yeah, but I support you. If you really love someone, this is not love, This is, you should know what each other's dreams are.
Mm.
I also know what the dream is of my wife. Right? It's not only about me. You are a team.
Mhm.
And that's very good, I think, also in Asia, with Asian women, I think. It's a lot of teamwork. It's not like who's doing the dishes tonight.
Mhm.
Sorry to skip to that, but it's a
Yeah.
lot of teamwork here. And my wife is just fantastic. She said, if you have to go to the US or go to China for a few months, I let you go. And I know it's going to be all right.
Yeah.
And then you always come back.
Yeah, you have to have that support system. Otherwise, it doesn't work. I remember
Yeah.
there was a movie about Joe Weider, who's the kind of the father
Hmm.
of bodybuilding, and in that movie, the his first wife, I think, yeah, his first wife, and there's a very powerful scene which is talking about what you and I were just referring to, and his first wife said, you know, why are you doing this? You already have me. I love you. I don't need you to
Hmm.
become anything better. And he said, that's the worst thing that you could ever say to me. And they divorced because he knew that
Wow.
this is not a person that, you know, even though he loved her, this is not a person who is going to be that life partner that he needs to go through his life, because he has dreams and ambitions and he achieved, you know, all of those and beyond. And he wouldn't have if he stayed in that relationship. Again, it's a movie. I
Yeah,
don't know how much and of everything is true, but if we take that as such, that was a very powerful moment there.
absolutely. Oh, it happens so much. It happens more than you think. I think probably in 80, 90% of the people.
Yeah.
It is a big thing. So when you realize that, yeah, you also know what not to look for. And but you have to bump your head sometimes in those things to experience that. But I lost 5 years with that. That's a long time.
I'm sorry.
But
Um,
you need experience too to grow. It's not without a reason. And then you make good decisions.
yeah.
Right? The same with Jackie in the beginning. Like I learned so much from fighting him the first one with blood pressure that afterwards things got better. And I'm still feeling that things are still going. I'm gonna have my own movie next year. I'm gonna be the main guy. I'm gonna get more main parts right now because I set my mindset in being
Good.
the good guy and the main guy, and I'm getting that right now. People trust me in that. They believe me, and I'm getting a project in Vietnam, like a main good guy.
Yeah.
There's a project actually from Belgium,
Okay.
Dinard, part three. Be one of the lead main guys, good guy.
Mhm.
So you know what you kind of visioned and envision that really can happen. That's why it's so powerful, guys. I want to say that girls as well. That's why it's so powerful. Your mindset can really change a lot of things.
Yeah. I
I laugh about it, but it's true. You know, I can,
I
and
com-
it's still surviving. But that's great.
I completely agree with you. I've noticed that since I was a little kid, and my first experience when I understood this was I was a little kid, and again, growing up in Ukraine, we were on a bus and we were kind of riding through the downtown area, and we lived in the suburbs. So we're driving through the downtown area, and out of the corner of my eye, I see this beautiful stadium, and I say, "Wow, that is where I'm going to be." And then 3 or 4 months later, into my school in the suburbs, a fencing teacher comes in and says, "Hey, you know, who wants to do fencing?" I said, "Yeah, I'd love to do fencing because I grew up on Three Musketeers and Alexandre Dumas, so I want to do fencing." And I sign up for fencing. That fencing is in that stadium. And I remember as a kid thinking, is that how it works? I can think of something. There you go. Is that your son or your wife?
That's
Hey,
my son, Nicky. Come in. Keep
here.
going. Keep going.
Hey,
Keep going.
hey, buddy, how are you?
Nicky,
Hi.
say hello.
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 This is such a big boy. My big love. Nicky, you like action? Can you hold your leg a little bit? 1 second, huh?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Whoa, you see, this
Oh
is.
my
I
goodness.
always get his food in my face. Like,
Okay.
Here's some cheese.
oh, here's some cheese. Okay, you know, we make jokes about it. Like, here's some cheese, some ham, you know. And then he's holding his leg. Like, the good thing is, I don't need to ask for him to train, you know, because it's all the energy. It's in the house here, you know. We play action songs, video clips. This guy is an action man, right,
Nice.
bro? Whoa.
That's awesome.
Anyway,
How old is
yeah.
he? How old are you, bud?
How old are you?
I'm 8.
Very cool.
8 years old.
My son is about to turn 11, so yeah, very very close. Very
Oh,
nice.
great. Good.
That's
Good.
awesome.
Good. But,
Hey,
but you said that you imagined that, like, and you did the fencing, right?
yeah, and it worked. And I remember as a kid that, hey, this is maybe how it works. And then since then, I remember it all the time. You know, I would think of something and then it would happen. So for me, it
Yeah.
just became a natural part of that's how the world works. And that was much earlier before I learned anything about the law of attraction and how people utilize it. For me, it was okay. Yeah, I kind of know this as a kid, and that's what I was doing all the time.
And you know what? You're so right. I think you have that a little bit as well. I believe in spirituality. Like sometimes there's no coincidences. And you can feel things actually when you follow your senses.
Yeah.
And you make decisions based on that. Life can be very amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I told my wife, I feel I'm wearing a helmet. I'm gonna do with a big sword. I feel I'm doing a kind of 300 movie. And guess what?
Yeah.
She asked me when. I said in November. Guess what happened?
Yeah, The Warrior's Gate, which was awesome, by the way. I love the film.
It is just amazing how it works. So when you really have this call for yourself, I want to do these movies or sword fighting like you had, it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, continue doing that. It's I'm rooting for you, Ron. I'm going to be looking forward to all of your upcoming projects. That's awesome. Let's talk about one more guy, and then we'll switch into some of the technical things, buddy. In some of the technical things, Michael J. White, who you've had a chance to work with as well.
He's cool. Yeah, I know him as well.
Yeah, very, very cool. All right, so I want to ask you some questions that I've always wondered about in terms of the martial arts movies. So when you have the action scene and people see, somebody gets hit and you see the blood, it's not the blood. We know that, but what is it? Because I know it's not ketchup. What's being used? Can you open some secrets of that?
Yeah. Actually, I think it is. In Thailand, we have some red syrup.
Okay.
And I think it's coffee. So the coffee is to make it a little bit darker, have this dark base, and some water and red syrup. And it's very, very sweet. So once you got that in you can actually swallow it. You're not going to die from it. You actually can swallow it. And it will attract a lot of ants, actually. Ants or flies or whatever. So when you, for example, fight in the jungle, right, and you have this in Thailand, you're going to attract a lot of animals.
Yeah.
Like really, like ants or stuff. It's so sweet. But you can swallow it. So sometimes I have to, when you're too excited or you swallow it a little bit, you get a lot of energy from that. Because it's coffee and sugar. And I have one kind of anecdote about this blood and seagull.
Yeah.
You know what happened? I had this blood, right? The coffee and the syrup. It was in Philippines. And I had to do a reaction, and he had a very new suit, Seagull. He had a new suit. He said, "Don't spill this blood on my new suit. Don't do that." Now you can feel it coming already. So I had to. So he punched me in the face, so puff, and I had to do like this. But as you can see, there's a kind of bounce back, right?
Yeah.
So the camera was over there, and I had to open my mouth, puff, in the camera. But the thing is, because there's a small coming back, there was some blood spatter on his new suit and on his face, in the middle of his face. And I was still on this side, and I heard some growling like this. And I thought oh no, and he had to clean his suit, and he wasn't happy.
Yeah.
But I really intended to spit it out on that side, but it's a little bit coming back because you can't be a robot, else it would be like this.
Yeah.
But it's always like bam, like this, and it came back a little bit on his new suit.
On his new suit. Well, Steven, sorry about that.
Sorry, Steven, but I love you. He knows it.
Yeah. So what happens when, again, anybody who's very sensitive and doesn't want to hear it, please tune out for this moment. But what happens with, when breaks happen? When in this scene, a person's arm or leg is supposed to get broken. What do they use? Is that an insert, or how is that done?
Okay, there was some cool stuff they did in Tom Yam Goong with Tony Jaa. Sometimes they have their arm, for example. It's an insert, so they have the wide shot, right, with the full move, so you can see like a motion, and then they can go to a slightly different angle when their arm is, for example, on their back, and they have a fake arm, and then he just breaks it, bam, and then it really like bends like puff like that.
Cool.
you know, and they just act like whoop, and then with this fake arm,
Yeah.
and that's an example how they did that in Tom Yum Goon. Even fake legs, huh? Even fake legs, like you get kicked
Yeah.
in the front of the knee and it just pops out, buff, but that's like a fake leg.
Yeah.
And their real leg is tucked in.
Yeah.
So there's ways to do that.
That's
Yep.
very, very cool. And in terms of falls, you know, sometimes you're going to be in places where you're falling and it's not a hard surface. Sometimes you're falling on cement. Do they have anything for you to fall on, or you just need to know how to fall properly?
First of all, in any case, as a stuntman or action actor, you
Yeah.
need to know how to fall properly, like how to break the fall,
Yep.
right? You need to know.
Yeah.
Because else you can't do that.
Yeah.
We have like kind of different kind of pads. Like there are soft pads and there are hard pads. You know, like the skateboarders, they always have those hard pads. Like when you hit your knees on the concrete
Yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Those hard pads, there are certain versions of it, and you can put them under your clothes. So sometimes your pants are a little bit bigger than you would normally wear, and that is to put the pants in.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you play back movies, right,
Yeah.
like one by one, you can see sometimes the safeties
Yep.
inside the pants or in the back. Like there's a small bubble in there, or you
Mhm.
know, we can see that, we can detect that, we know that.
Okay.
Or you're a little bit bigger than normal, you know, that means you have a back protection.
Good.
And it looks like a spine almost. It's like those back protectors. Motorbike guys have them. You can buy them at the motorbike shop.
Mhm.
Those things.
Yeah.
And of course, they're professional versions of that. But that can save your back for sure. You know, in Thailand, they even hit a little bit in the face. You can't protect that.
No.
But we have body protectors. I not always want to wear them. Sometimes I just like a little bit to get some impact.
Mhm.
You know, some hits we can take. But yeah, with knees and joints, you got to be careful, definitely.
Yeah.
And some falls are scary.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I saw
even
you.
with pads, you feel it. Yes.
Yeah. And then I saw you jumping, you know, out of the window, you know, off a roof.
Yep.
I hope that there was maybe there was a wire or there was something to jump on. How did that work?
Okay, that was actually a wire, but to be honest, I think they just let me go. It was like free fall. They just they let it go. Okay, they hold it for, you know, but
Yeah.
I think they just run with it, and I just go down. So
Mhm.
it's probably like 90% of the speed still. The thing was, there was a car,
Mhm.
and it was next to the car. And I was supposed to fall next to the car, and my friend was on the car. We were fighting in the air
Yeah.
together, and I was even trying to shoot him in the air
Yeah.
while we go down. And I was supposed to fall next to the car. What happened is we stayed a little bit too close. So I fell on the car, like on the side of the car, you know, with the mirror.
Yeah.
I fell on the side, like bam. And I just noticed that like 2 seconds before the impact, like, oh shit. And then you have to brace very quick. So I
Yeah.
landed on the side of the car and then fall next to the car. It was a very nice bounce, like bam, bam, like that.
Yeah.
And actually that became the real take. They used it for the movie because it was better than they could design. But it was actually an accident.
Yikes.
But you have to keep acting, right? So I pop up and you don't stand up. You just keep acting because it might be a good take.
Yeah.
And that's the same with Van Damme in No Retreat, No Surrender. He kicks a guy really in the face in the boxing ring at the end.
Yeah.
And he's knocked out and he just lies down, but it was real.
Wow.
You know, sometimes things are real.
Yeah. And that's again, you're talking about takes, right? So yeah, we're gonna have you
Yeah.
jump off this building. Okay, that worked. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. It's like, come on, how many takes,
Yeah.
you know, would those things take? And you know, at some point you may get injured. So what happens if actors get injured?
Can happen, huh? Like in India, it's very dangerous. They send you to the hospital, they replace you straight away. You know, it differs per country.
Yeah.
Like China, sometimes they not care too much. If you're part of a big team and there's a lot of people, and you're one of the 30 fighters, you know, it's just okay, next. It's like that. To tell you the truth. If
Yeah.
you are a lead guy, it's different. They take a little bit more care of you. But yeah, they should have insurances, but not all movies have that even.
Yeah.
India is a dangerous place, I tell you the truth. Like one time we had four guys on three floor high, four guys had to jump down and they have to fall flat, right? On boxes and mats on the top. So there's boxes and mats. And then at the end you have to fall flat. They didn't know how to fall. So two of them, they just went straight and their feet landed on the mats in the boxes, but their feet got twisted.
Yeah.
So two of them broke their ankles in one shot. One was an open break.
Oh my God.
So the bone came out with blood spraying.
Yeah.
And the other one was also like out. So two of the four were out in one shot.
Oh my God.
And they stopped shooting. The main actor was so angry, like, you can't do this to the stunt guys. And they didn't know how to fall. They just wanted money. In India, people want money. And the main guy was like, what is going on? And he stopped shooting. He got angry. He walked off. So yeah, there's a lot of stories regarding, Indian production. We had the cranes, the camera crane.
Yep.
With the cranes, like they wanted to put a wire on the camera crane, which is not that strong, to let people go down on a 26-floor stories building on a camera crane.
Yeah.
We were heavy, If something is wrong, it'll just tip over. You need a whole platform and construction to do that.
Yeah.
So the stuntmen were like, don't do this, And they were like, oh, you guys are scared, why you don't do this? In India, we do all that.
Yeah.
But someone would die, literally.
Yeah.
On a camera crane, put a wire on it and just go on the 26th floor, go down.
Yeah.
Like, you can't do that. But, that's what you learn too.
Yeah.
If your feeling says, don't do this, even if the money is a lot, something wrong is going to happen. Don't do it.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
I know a guy, he came back from India. He said, I'm not going to do this stunt. They fired him. If I actually fired himself, he said, I'm not going to do this. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Maybe he lost some money, but, your career is also important for the future.
Mm-hmm. So let's, you brought up money. I actually wanted to ask you, and again, share what you were able without, don't say what you don't want to say. But in terms of money, I know what the money is like in acting within the United States. What is the money like in the martial art films? Because a lot of them, don't go to the theaters. A lot of them are direct, DVD kind of films. So what is the money like for actors, and then for actors who are not stars?
Yeah. Okay. It depends, first of all, what country you are and what kind of movies it is.
Mm-hmm.
There's actually stuntmen making a lot of money. Like stuntmen from England and the US and Australia, for example, they make a lot of money. They can make $1,000 per day, plus additional per take.
Yep.
They get, for example, $200 per take. So if you have 5 takes, that's another $1,000 per day.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Thailand, they come to shoot in Thailand because it is cheaper. So the rates are lower.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top, the company will cut your money as well. They will not tell you. So they also profit from you.
Really?
So that will be probably like 30% of what you get in the US. So it may be like 300, 200 US per day.
Mm-hmm.
In Thailand. Chinese rates are great. That is like US rates. I don't know why, but the rates are very good there.
Nice.
That's triple in as Thailand. So if you work, for example, overseas, right, and you come back to Thailand, you can live for a year on that. To talk about that survival and stuff.
Yeah.
So Thailand is not. You not make a lot of money, to be honest, but there's a lot of action movies. You can build your resume. A lot of action stars come here to shoot.
Yep.
So that's another capital. That is skill capital and network capital, which you can build here. Yeah. It's not the money capital. But don't forget the other capitals, right? Because with skill capital and network capital, the money capital can come later as well.
So who's a martial arts star that you have not had a chance to work with that you would love to fight in a scene?
I love that question. You know what?
Mhm.
I always inspire. I always love Dolph Lundgren. He's a very big example for me.
Yeah.
He's not a martial arts action star like that, but
Right.
he's an action star, definitely. And he's a great actor as well. He showed himself as a great actor.
Agreed.
Dolph Lundgren is some kind of character I really like.
Mhm.
As a person, as the way his lifestyle,
Mhm.
and also just the characters he plays. I think he's cool.
Mhm.
So I would love to actually do something with him, Dolph Lundgren. Magda Kaskos would be nice.
Yes.
Dolph Lundgren, really, that is the one.
Mhm.
And I think I got a lot of people. Like Jet Li would be great.
Yeah.
I don't think he's doing that much anymore.
Yeah.
But I think if I would have Dolph Lundgren and the Kaskos on the list, I might have fought almost all of them. I'm actually very lucky with this.
Yeah.
I've never been a main star myself, but I could always actually fight all those people and work with them.
Yeah.
So this experience I have to use,
Yeah. Absolutely.
right? But Dolph Lundgren, if he ever sees this interview,
Yep.
I'd love to do an action scene with him or an acting scene or
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, or Sylvester Stallone. Listen, if you're gonna do any more Expendables movies, here's somebody for you.
Yeah.
Let's cast Ron in it.
I would be like one of them would be great. I know Gary was there and Scott. I would like to be in one of them. Yeah, definitely.
Jean-Claude was there
It
as
would
well.
be a nice, new step up for me as well.
Yeah.
You never know how life and career can go, right? But if you are persistent and keep growing, I always say you get what you can carry. So if you not get certain parts, right, blame yourself. And it's like a pickup truck. If it cannot carry more, you will not get more loads of the truck, right? But if you can carry more as an actor or as a fighter, or you can show people believe in you, then you also get more. You get what you can carry, I think.
No.
So we have to improve our carry capacity, but just always keep developing and don't stop. And then some interesting things might happen.
Yeah, perfect. I think I just came up with the name for our segment. We'll save that for the viewers later. So I wanted to ask you a question, and this I don't want it to come off as negative because I don't mean it that way, but
It's okay.
as a kind of reality of our business. You're I know your age. We're not going to talk about your age, but
You can.
you're 44.
I'm 46 already.
You're 46. Okay, my records
Yeah.
are wrong. So then you're 1 year
Well,
old.
thanks for the compliment.
Yeah,
Thanks for the compliment.
no, you're in much better shape than a lot of the people who are in their 30s. So that's not the problem. The question is, in martial arts films, and I think in not necessarily in acting so much, but in martial arts films, it's all about who's the young, who's the new, what can they do, what's different about them, who can carry the film. So where do you see your career going, being where you are right now, and what you think is going to happen?
To be honest, for me, I feel it just starts. You know what I actually want? I want for a guy with my age
Mhm.
to still be able to do what a 26-year-old guy can do. With my weight, like 100 plus kilos, to be very fast and to be different. That is actually more rare than to be someone in 26 and do all of that, because there's loads of them.
Yeah.
To be someone at 46 and do that is a selling point, and then also with the life experience on the top, I think we have something to sell, and then something to offer. Also, of course, to fight with those stars, but also to do it yourself. I think it's all good. They always told me in the beginning, I'm too young, and then suddenly you were too old, right? We just spoke about that.
Yeah.
But also as a human being, I felt like in my life, I matured a little bit late. I had very protective parents, to be honest. They're lovely. That's why they're very protective.
Yeah.
I matured a little late. So some developments in your life, you got a little later, and life experience as well.
Mhm.
So I feel now, actually, I feel better than ever before.
Good.
I feel this is the moment. right now. Okay, you get a little bit this, but that's character.
Yeah.
Some people can turn bitter, but yeah, some people like Elvis Presley, you know, like when he sings, he have this kind of aura around him.
Yeah.
I feel very strong these days, and I hope I can, you know, shine that, to beam that to the audience.
Yeah.
It's how I feel. I think some things I could not have done maybe even 5 years ago or 10 years ago, what I do now. And I think I can pull off quite some stuff right now. Also emotionally, like I was not able to handle that a few years ago. For crying scenes or maybe, you know, some. That is the beauty of acting. You always grow.
That's true.
And yeah, and again, you get what you can carry, I always say. So see what happens, you know. But if you not believe in yourself, how would a director believe in you to give that part?
They won't.
You really have to believe that yourself first. And it's, you know, it's the law of attraction, what you said. It is definitely there. And yeah, I cannot go back in time, make myself younger again. So we got to do what we have. And you know what? Nobody is perfect, you know. If you are this model type, and nobody is perfect. The imperfectness of people, being imperfect, is the selling point.
Yeah.
I have a big injury on my knee that made me reshape my whole choreography, all my moves. And I have something. It would be rare for somebody to come up with that. It's very different.
Yeah.
So because of this injury, and you fight different, but it actually is a selling point. The handicap became the selling point.
Beautiful. And again, it goes back to how positive you are and how you look at life, and that's the part that I, you know, out of everything else from the interview, I want people to take away that part of believe in yourself, work hard, and continue growing. I love that, Ron. You're so right. You're so inspirational. I'm just really happy I got a chance to talk to you.
Thank you so much. I mean, yeah, again, I love to, if people watch this, you know, and some people, you know, these are hard times, right? Now there's this COVID thing. People overthink their lives. These are hard times. These are the moments to say, you know what? Yes, I'm going to go for it even more. This is what I really want. And, you know, sometimes like interviews like this, or hear other people talk about this, just talk about it. Can actually, you know, make that change or this fire. And for me, there were a few people also in my life who gave me this fire. And I never forget that. So if you can do that for someone else, that's just amazing. Like the interviews you do, I think that's amazing work you do. I have to compliment you as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Listen, I don't know how anybody can walk away from this interview and listening to you and not be inspired and not want to go and do something with themselves. So, you know, now I'm going to look at the camera instead of at Ron. You know, folks, I'm inspired. You know, I was jumping on my chair before the interview. I'm even more hyped up right now. So if you're not like me, let's do it and go get ready. Figure out what your passion is, and then do something about it. Even my dog downstairs, who's barking right now, is excited. So
I can hear him.
Yep, everybody's into it. Ron, it's a true honor and a pleasure. I've been watching you for 20 years, and I am so happy that I get a chance to talk to you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for kind of pulling back the veil and telling people what it's really like. And I think you're, you know, incredibly inspirational, and I hope everybody watches it, gets into it, and starts following you. Again, guys, we're gonna, you know, put things right below the video. So follow Ron on Instagram. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's a ton of content. Ron puts out a lot of very cool videos. If you love martial arts, if you love movies, you have to follow Ron. So let's just leave it at that.
Thank you so much. And I always say, life is action.
Yeah, life is action. And
life is action.
And on that, we'll wrap. Everybody, we know you love acting as much as we do. That's why we do this. Thank you so much for tuning in. Take care.
You too. Much love to everyone.
Bye.